Sega Galaga is not a good game. Now, don't misunderstand me. Galaga is a great game, but Sega Galaga is not. Now, I love Galaga. It is undeniably one of my favorite arcade games of all time, if not my favorite. I used to play hours and hours of it as a kid. I had this Namco plug and play that I would play Galaga and Mappy and all sorts of good games. And Galaga was always my favorite. It was my father's favorite game back in the 80s. It was my favorite game as a kid. Galaga is a great game. So why do I hate Sega Galaga so much? Well, so far in the series, I've been playing games that I'm not too familiar with. So when I hear that they have features removed from the arcade version or other ports of the game, I have no context. So what I see is what I get with the game, and I'm kind of okay with it for the most part. But I'm intimately familiar with Galaga, and this is the worst possible version of Galaga. There's only one wave in this game, and it just repeats over and over and over again. It speeds up as you go on, but it's just boring. This is the blandest, most uninspired and pointless version of Galaga I have ever played. Now, the graphics and sound are also nothing to write home about, but that's kind of expected. The graphics and the sound capabilities of the SG-1000 were slightly below par. I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with you taking Galaga and turning it into this monotonous chore to play. That, as they say, is not cool. Now, if you've never played Galaga, does this game hold up if you have no context to compare it to the original? Kind of. I mean, it's still Galaga at its heart. You know, the gameplay is still good. They replicated the gameplay pretty well, but I foresee you getting pretty bored with this game, even if you don't know Galaga, because it's just so repetitive. It's the same thing over and over and over again. If you snag yourself a double ship, like I did, you can just go pretty far in the game relatively unchallenged, and there's nothing to break up the monotony. The wonderful thing about Galaga is there's these bonus stages, and they introduce new enemy types, and it stays interesting, and it makes you want to keep pushing forward and keep getting farther. But if it's the same thing over and over and over again, just getting faster every time, you don't have that motivation to push any farther. You just want to stop playing, which is what I would have liked to have done, except this is my third attempt at making an episode on Sega Galaga, because the first time I knew nothing about it. I thought, I love Galaga, this is going to be fun, and I was just massively disappointed. And then the second time, I just couldn't bring up the enthusiasm to even critique or discuss the game. I was just so done with it. So I'm doing things a little different this time around. You've probably guessed I'm recording audio after the fact and syncing it over previous gameplay. So I don't have a whole lot to say about Sega Galaga. It insulted me, it insulted my family, and it's just an insult to the legacy of Galaga. You may think I'm overreacting to this whole thing, but really, in this day and age, never play Sega Galaga. Always play the real Galaga, my Galaga. This game is hashtag not my Galaga. So this has been my fairly over-dramatized rant about Sega Galaga. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit of a different format for me, but it's basically the only way I felt I could express my feelings. So I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. This has been the Sega Journey, and this has been Sega Galaga. So let's move on and never talk about it again. Thanks again. See ya.